Hey everyone, March from Consequence here. As stated in every video, I am just making some guides for aimed at normal and heroic, and trying to make them as quick as possible, but kind of how you set up the raid, not like your traditional boss guides from like Bat Boss and things like that. But just to hop into this fight, we have Skolex here, and fight is probably the simplest fight in the raid. Mythic gets a little weirder, but the footage you see on the right here is normal testing. I guess I could have brought up the heroic testing. However, there really is only one difference between normal and heroic, and that is on heroic, you will want 3 players in the back of the room, farther back than everyone else. And the way we position here is we have our melee up front, and we have our range who aren't doing the range baits in the middle ground, and then in heroic, which you won't see here, we'll have 3 players assigned here, here, and here. As you see my note, I have already planned out what the assignments are going to be for heroic week, and I think it's called Dust Flail, but basically those players will go back there and they'll take 3 hits up this pulse, and once the 3 hits are done, they can move back in the group. So they bait 3 hits and come in. Now, the way I kind of have it on heroic is for every wretch, there's going to be a swap in the people who are baiting. So the bait would be, okay, we'll have 3 players starting in the back. They take 3 hits. Then they move in, and then there'll be a breath, and then the next 3 players will go back, they'll take 3 hits, they'll move in, there'll be a breath, the next 3 players move back, there'll be 3 hits, there'll be a breath, and then we stack. And that is how I have it. That was probably the most important, like 15 seconds you probably will hear in this whole video, but that's how we're planning to do it on heroic. Now, as you see here, the next important part of the fight is the clearing of the debuffs. So the boss will give you a debuff, and you'll take more and more damage throughout the fight, and the people soaking the circles will take even more damage. So in normal here, basically the way you spawn the circle is that everyone in the raid needs to be stacked. So as you see, he's going to stack, and there's going to be the circle. So the goal of this circle is to, when you soak it, you'll be stacked. Now the circle is a knockback, so anything from the middle is going to knock you, whatever from the middle, whatever part of the circle you're in, it's going to knock you that way. So ideally, and that's where the boss will spawn, ideally we're going to have DPS move forward and tanks move backwards. So some of these guys are doing it wrong, but as you see here, the DPS is going to move backwards, and the boss is going to be here. And this is what I call the ping pong strat, which is what we'll be doing in heroic and normal. So we'll just ping pong back and forth. So the next stack point will probably be this warlock portal or something, and the fight repeats itself from there. And then we'll just ping pong back to where we started, and then back, and then back, and then back, and then back. Just because it's normal, people are kind of doing whatever they want over here. But you know, in the other difficulties, we might have all the melee stacked with each other. That'll probably be good to bait circles. Again, like you're not seeing here, but like 3 people would be back. They'll take 3 hits. The breath will happen. 3 more people will go back, they'll take 3 hits, the breath will happen, etc. And that's literally the whole fight. So the big takeaways is the soaks you need to set up beforehand, as well as the group knowing that everyone needs to be together to spawn the circle, to bait the boss, and also to clear your debuff more importantly. We had the whole raid except for the tanks stand in the front, so they get knocked the other way. The tanks should be in the back or on the sides, so they can so they're not with the raid. And the other thing to note, and this is usually not my forte, is there is a tank mechanic. I don't list tank mechanics in my guides because I just expect my tanks to know what to do. But there's like a taunt sequence they need to complete, and every time the boss burrows, he gets buffed. They keep changing the number. It used to be like 50% or something, but now it's a little lower. So, but every time you burrow the boss, he's going to get harder and harder and harder. and the raid damage usually doesn't like get affected that much, but what actually gets affected is the tank damage. So if you're buffing the boss by like 20% every time you burrow, and you just keep doing the clear stacks, your tanks are going to get absolutely destroyed eventually. So that's something to consider. Um, that's basically it. Yeah, the tank thing is very small, but that's the whole fight. Very simple. It's going to be a patchwork fight, and I got nothing more to say about it. So thank you everyone, and peace out.